Hi guys, how we doing? Sorry it's been a minute. Really just had a very, very rough week and weekend. But we're going to try and get a little bit more done on this base. I will be working on the top again. I just really kind of want to get this base finished so that once I get the ball done, I can just start focusing on getting everything primered and painted and get the show on the road. I knew when I decided the way I was going to do this that it was going to take me a while. I didn't expect it to take me an entire year. But, you know, things happen. Today is probably going to be short. I am dealing with a little bit of a cold and just kind of burnt out on pretty much everything right now. I'm sure if you saw my video yesterday, we did lose Hannah on Friday. We did everything we could for her. But sometimes you just have to let go. And that was very, very hard on all of us. And then things are a little crazy and hectic at work as well. So it's just been a very interesting week, and I'm hoping this week is going to go just a little tiny bit easier. But, and of course, on top of all of that, I have a shoulder that I had surgery on a few years back, and it has decided it doesn't want to cooperate at the moment. So, we are going to be very limited on what I'm able to do before it starts throwing screaming fits at me again. And I haven't been able to get super cooled out here, so you might see me fighting with my concrete, getting it to do what I want it to do. But we'll get there. You can't let the rough times get you down. If you see me kind of a little bit more jumpy about my resident wasp, and you haven't been paying attention the past week, I am a little more jumpy with the wasp after my super fun experience last week of startling a nest full and getting stung multiple times and dealing with the allergic reaction that comes with that. We were able to avoid hospitals, which is always a good thing. Nobody wants to have to deal with that level of allergic reaction. But it's not their fault. Their instinct is to defend their home at all cost. And I was a little too close. So that was on me. Well, technically I'd say that was probably on the cat, because he decided to run up under the porch where they were. And I was trying to catch him because he had hold of a bird. And we are trying very hard to teach him that birds are not prey. Obviously, this is a long, slow process. I know this is off channel just a little bit there, or probably off screen just a little bit. But some of my spots have little cracks here and there where I didn't get them in really good and solid. So I like to go through and fill those cracks when I notice them. So that I don't have to go back and do it later on a huge scale. And that is simply the amount of temperature change that happens back here. It's a little bit hard for the concrete to dry properly. If you've been on my channel for a while, you know I had that challenge pretty heavily when I was working with the bird bath. That's the word I was trying to think of. Which, please do excuse me when I have my moments of my brain just kind of stops working a little bit. That is because of the stress of the past couple of days and the past week, really. Could even say the past month. I have been struggling a little bit with some of my bigger mental health issues, which one of the biggest ways that shows itself is I forget words. I will sit and struggle trying to think of the proper word for pretty much everything and anything. And just takes me a minute to get there. I guess that section did not want to be where it was. Okay, let's try that again. And right now I'm just trying to actually finish the vines themselves. I don't know if we'll go in and do any leaves today, but if I finish the vines tomorrow, I can go in and finish the leaves, and then we can try one more, or maybe two more, theories on this ball itself, and then we'll be able to actually start primering, which I am very excited to do. And I know me pressing this down and then up looks a little bonkers, but I'm trying a different theory to see if I can get it to hold just a little bit tighter. And maybe not crack quite so hard. It's worth a try, right? I've said it before, and it really is true. This is a learning process, as much for me as for anybody else. I haven't really ever done anything quite like this before, and I am decidedly not a sculptor. I know there's people that could probably knock this out in like a day. I am not that person. And if you saw my videos yesterday, the Conyers are ecstatic in their new homes. We haven't seen them interacting with each other yet enough to know if we're ever going to be able to pull that centerpiece. But they do seem very happy with their extended space. And I think that we're starting to... Here we go. There's where we need more. I think that they're going to be very happy there, and I think it's going to be good for them. So my boyfriend suggested, and I actually debated it and decided against it, to go down with the vines onto this part. The reason I'm not doing that is a lot of extra work for something that is never going to be seen. This part will sink mostly into the ground. So I can't see spending the extra time on leaves and vines for something that really isn't going to be particularly visible. Right now it just kind of looks like a slug or something, so we got to do something with that. And I think we're going to turn it just a little bit here. There we go. What I'm doing right now is actually moving the concrete up a little bit so that it's not quite so thick. And then we're just going to shape it a bit. I know it looks bonkers starting off, but you've heard me say it before and I'll say it again, trust the process. Now we're getting somewhere. I'm just kind of checking, making sure you guys can actually see what I'm doing. There we go. I do actually have my ball sitting on top of the base right now, which is kind of fun. I like being able to see it sitting up there. So it makes it a little easier for me to visualize what it is I'm doing here. I guess that's where that's going. It just kind of decided. And far be it from me to argue with it, right? I do want to kind of convince it to come up just a little bit, though. Now, there are going to be some end pieces that just sit. They're not going to all be all the way up to the top because not all vines grow all the way to where they're trying to get to. So, that and managing to get every single piece all the way up would probably drive me a little bit bonkers. But I am rather a fan of doing these cross pieces. Let's come around so you guys can actually see what I'm doing here. And I know they look a little bit almost skeletal at first, but once we get the leaves going, it does make a big difference. And I am not going to be able to do much longer. My back is getting very, very tight very, very quickly. And I do apologize for that. But as I said, well, I don't know if I mentioned the shoulder having issues or not, but, well, I'm kind of a mess right now. But that's alright. It's one thing, whether you struggle with mental health issues or not, learning to accept that sometimes it's okay just not to be in the best headspace is not, it's a huge thing. And I know I'm a little rambly today, and that's just what it's going to be today. But we did get a nice new little vine on there. And I think that's going to be the last big vine that I add. I might add a branch off here just to fill this space. But we're not going to go too much more crazy. Just simply, it doesn't really need it. I don't want it to be so busy that it loses what it is. You may wonder if I'd have known how hard this was actually going to be, if I'd have kept doing it, or if I'd have done it anyway. The answer to that question is yes. I'm actually thrilled with the challenge this has presented, and I actually would have absolutely gone for it. I probably would have done something a little bit different starting off with the top, but it happens. There we go. So I am going to stop there because I am hearing some movement out front. I'm going to go ahead and stop where I'm at. I will pick up on this tomorrow, and we'll work on finishing up the vines and getting some leaves going. So for now, I will talk to you guys next time.